Marfoogle News live in 3, 2. All right, what is going on, guys? It's Adam A.K. Marfin. This is Marfoogle News. We're going to go right into the story here. Venezuela says opposition leader will become a fugitive if she collects the Nobel Peace Prize. Now, she's possibly collecting the Nobel Peace Prize because she is the opposition leader. When I first saw this, I had a conversation with Dex, and I actually wondered, I'm like, so what has she actually done? Essentially, she is standing up against Maduro, and that's why they're giving her this prize. And I thought, man, yeah, if you were in Venezuela standing up against this, then yeah, that's pretty crazy to be, somebody who's going up against the guy who basically kidnaps his opposition. But I guess she actually doesn't actually live there either. So, a lot of folks have said on Twitter that they wondered if she was kind of set up as the puppet that will replace him. She is, of course, the same one that has said that she will bring tons and tons of money back into Venezuela, back to the people. In fact, she says that they are not utilizing a lot of their minerals, a lot of their oil, all of this oil money that could be coming back to Venezuela. She has a plan to actually bring all of that money back. Now, as we speak right now, there are at least 12 warships right outside of Venezuela. There was a really crazy Notam that we'll talk about here in a minute, that essentially they were doing some sort of action attack demo. We'll talk about that. But she is set up to be the one that just gets put right in there. It says she has long denounced President Nicolas Maduro's government as criminal and called on Venezuelans to unite to depose it. Many nations view his rule as illegitimate. Machado, who has long been one of the most respected voices in Venezuela's opposition, was barred from running in last year's presidential elections, in which Maduro won a third 6-year term in office. And they complain about ours, right? And of course, the selection day for their prez was widely dismissed on the international stage as neither free nor fair. Well, never heard of that being said, right? We're going to talk about that and much more over on our other show as well, right after we cover some of the more important stuff. Now, before we move on, I do want to remind you guys, make sure to go check out marfooglenews.com/EMP, especially now that they are on the biggest sale they've had in 4 years. Again, there is a 25% off on all of their products, up to 25% off on all their products on their side, and then $50 off per device on our side. So if you get 3 devices, one for your car, truck, generator, or car, truck, motorcycle, whatever combo, again, you can actually get our $150 off if you get 3 devices, $200 if you get 4, $250 if you get 5, and they're 25% off. So it's really good to do combos right now. Otherwise, you will get $50 off on one and 25% off from them. Go to marfooglenews.com/EMP to protect yourself against not only EMP strikes from adversaries, but also a solar event from any kind of solar Carrington level event as well. Go make sure to use that code MARF. Definitely a very smart thing to do. All right, let's bring in my co-host/internet brother, Dex James. What is going on, and how are you doing today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine. Hey, I misspoke earlier. She's actually in Venezuela in hiding.
Oh, okay.
The person she got to run, she put, was named Gonzalez, I believe, and got everybody to unite behind him. And he's the one that everybody thought, I guess, would have won, but didn't because of the way the elections worked there. He is the one who fled to Spain. So he's in Spain and hiding. She is hiding somewhere. She comes out every now and then during protests, but she is in
That makes
hiding.
so much more sense.
Yeah. So she's literally there in hiding.
Okay, so, and that's scary as hell. So, and they're saying, as far as the Nobel Peace Prize, the one thing, people have on both sides, it's like when they talked about our president getting it, of course, everybody's like, oh, you barely need anything to get it. But then, of course, when other people get it, it's like you have to be of the utmost, you have to have done the most respectable thing in the planet to get the Nobel Peace Prize. When somebody else gets it, they're like, I guess anybody gets one now. But again, it's a big deal. And, a lot of folks are more worried about what is going to happen with Venezuela in the coming days because a chunk of our Navy's there. Speaking of which, let's talk about the U.S. running a war game on ousting Maduro.
Well, certainly, and it makes sense. They said they ran a war game, what it would look like if they ousted Maduro, and of course, Venezuela fell into chaos. So, an official U.S. government exercise during President Trump's first term forecasted turmoil and potential violence in a post-Maduro Venezuela. I don't know if this is more of a hit piece against why we shouldn't go into Venezuela or why they shouldn't do it, because they're going back to the past as opposed to dealing with the current representation. Things are different in the country than they were 8 years ago. But nonetheless, anytime a government is going to have its leadership toppled, there is going to be chaos. It always happens. It creates that vacuum and fill it, and then there is chaos. You cannot have it just be peaceful and everybody's just happy with it. It just doesn't work that way. So I don't know why this is grand news. I think it should be obvious news. Like if we overthrow Maduro, it's going to be a mess, and then there'll be time to clean it up, and that'll also be part of the process. And you'll see that that'll be part of the process. Usually the U.S., when they're involved, they get involved in the cleanup, and if they do it but they don't get involved, then you see other people like Russia or China swoop in to seize the opportunity to get involved in the cleanup.
Yep, and then the vacuum falls to them, right? And then we have the U.S. issuing a terrifying Notam airspace warning as a B-52 nuclear bomber conducts attack demo. Venezuela crisis spirals. The United States has issued a terrifying new warning to the airspace around Venezuela as Donald Trump dispatched a B-52 nuclear bomber for an attack demo. The FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration, sent out a notice to air missions, NOTAM, alerting pilots, airlines, and air traffic controllers of a potentially hazardous situation in and around Venezuela. Just hours later, the Air Force announced that last night a B-52 along with KC-135 Stratotankers and fighter jets conducted a bomber attack demo in the Southern Command Area of Operations set up to deter illegal drug runners from Venezuela. The FAA notice warns of worsening security situations and heightened military activity in and around Venezuela. Threats could pose a potential risk to aircraft at all altitudes, including during overflight, the arrival and departure phases of flight and or airports and aircraft on the ground. The warning is for Machado Flight Information Region, which includes Venezuelan airspace and parts of the Southern Caribbean, such as Colombia, Guyana, Brazil, and Trinidad. No mistake. That's a huge area too. They're covering Brazil as well, which if you watched the last night's or the night before's news, we actually had China bringing in a huge hospital boat right into the port at Brazil. And we all wondered, why the hell is it parking there for the next year? So I wonder what the heck is really going on here, and does this mean that there is practice or even going to be a massive, massive operation done on Venezuela? We'll cover this more in depth over on our full show, which if you follow, you'll just be able to port right over if you're in chat to the next show right after this. If you're watching the replay, all you have to do to get to our next full live length show, all you have to do is click here. We'll see you in just a minute over on Marfoogle TV. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out. See you in a sec.